So I had a student the other day ask the question of, is there any way that we can use some animation, or can you point me in the right direction on how I can make some animation happen on my HTML page? So I thought that would be a really great tutorial for us to kind of walk through and showcase, and maybe add a little bit of JavaScript to get some pretty neat scroll features with. So for those that don't know, my name's Rob. I'm with precodecamp.com, where we teach live classes and we cater to the beginners out there looking to explore web development. And you get to learn uh, how to become a web developer going through our courses. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we are talking about here. So again, we're just trying to go with something that is very basic out there for us to use. And there's this great resource out there. The website is called Animate.style, and you'll be presented with this. And the neat thing that we can do here is we can apply any one of these animations that are already preset. So for example, if I wanted to bounce, I could make any element come in there and bounce. I can do a swing, I can do a heartbeat, and the website makes it really super easy to get started. And so that's where I kind of pointed the student in that direction, right? And so we're going to go ahead and walk you through getting the animation kind of set up, utilizing the animate.style. And then we're going to take it a step further, where we're going to have this showcase, and as you're scrolling, have the things kind of fly in with whatever animation that you want to have. So if that's something that interests you, keep on watching, because we're going to go through from scratch on how to get this working. So probably one of the first steps that you want to do is, let's go ahead and create the 3 files that we're going to need for this. We're going to do the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript, right? And they're all going to be named indexes the way that I'm going to have them. Keep in mind, I am going to give you a CodePen link down below this video, so that way you're more than welcome to follow along on it if you're more comfortable. So the next thing that we need to do is on our HTML page, I'm going to go ahead and just give boilerplate code here for it. And then in the head here, that's when we're going to take a look at our documentation on the website of animate.style. So let's go ahead and take a look over there. So in the animate.style down here, we're not going to yarn import this or yarn create it utilizing npm, but we will go ahead and utilize the CDN. And all we really need to do is copy this link here, and then we just need to apply it. Okay. If you are utilizing CodePen, I'm already going to have that in there for you, so you don't have to mess with it. And that gives us access to all of the animation that we're going to be utilizing here. Okay. So as you can see in the code, this is exactly where I put it, right there in the head section. Okay. Now back on the web page, it tells us our basic usage of it is we can put this on any element, but we need to first use the class animate _ animated to any of the elements. And then we can go ahead and pick and choose which one we want to have on there. And so what I usually like to do before I get started is I'll go ahead and copy this and I'll paste it into the code. And that way I can just validate really quick, because if they're telling me that this should work, then that's what I'm going to try first, just to make sure that everything got imported properly. Back to the code here. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that there. And then we can take a look at the browser and let's see what it looks like here. And notice that we're going to have to refresh the page in order to see. And I do see a nice little bounce. Okay. The next part here is we're just going to add a few stylings. And so again, that's already going to be done there for you on CodePen. So if you wanted to go grab it, but this is what the style page is going to look like for everyone here. So we're going to be having a section. I'm going to show you how we can add a duration of an extension of it as well. And then we're definitely going to need to have one that is hidden for later on. And we can see that right here. I just have a small little class for hidden with the opacity of 0. All right. let's go back to the index.html, and I'm going to add a few sections here. So you may see the video cut out here with some new sections. So let's go ahead and pause for it. Right, so I really wanted to just break this down into 3 separate sections. That way we only have to modify a few things. And here we have the section with the very first one says, welcome to the animation. Next one is, are you ready to learn? And then we have the pre-code camp can help you. And if we take a look here on the web page itself, we're going to notice that none of our styling is taking effect. And that is because if we go back to the code here, and all we need to do is link it. And so now the styling is there. So if I were to refresh, I don't see any of the animation quite yet. And that's because if you remember from our code, we only have half of the class spelled out in here, right? So let's go ahead and from the Animate.css website let's go ahead and pick out a class that we would like to use. And I believe for this one, I use the light speed from the left. And it helps us right here if we can just click on this little icon here, and that's going to copy that to our clipboard. And so now we can head back to our code here, and we can apply it to each one of these, right? So I can go ahead and add it there, and then one more I'll put here. And if we go back to the browser and take a look, I'll refresh here. Notice that it did fly in from the left, which is cool, right? Now, again, when I presented this to the student, they were like, yeah, it works, but I'd have to be halfway scrolled on that other page in order to see the animation. Is there a way to get it to fly in when we are scrolling as compared to, hey, let's have this all at once? So that's where we're going to need to do a little more work with JavaScript in order to get that to happen. So let's see how we can utilize JavaScript to solve our problem for this. Right, so JavaScript, we're able to utilize this API, the intersection observer API. And what it will do for us is we can imagine putting tracking devices on each one of these elements here, right? Each one of the H2s, for example, or anytime we see the word animate as far as a class, we can put trackers on each one of these classes here, and it will track and let us know when is it coming into the viewport, meaning when's it coming in from the bottom. And that's how we can trigger the animation by saying, hey, if you are in our viewport, let's go ahead and add this class to you. Otherwise, let's not add that class. Matter of fact, let's remove it if it's there and add it once we become into your viewport. Okay, so that's the concept behind it. And let me show you the documentation on here where we're going to grab this idea, grab this concept in order to work. So we're going to do a little bit of digging on here, but we'll find it. So it tells us here that we need to create an observer with a new intersection observer. It needs a callback, and then the options are actually optional. When we do it, we're not going to provide it with options. Next, over here, we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and this is what a callback can look like. Again, we're going to go through this in the code, and the one that we're really interested in is this one right here. Entry is intersecting right here, and it does have a little bit of an example here for us where the intersection callback, and this is what we're going to be doing in code. So all the documentation is there. Let's go ahead and go to our HTML first, because we need to prep the HTML so that way we can add and remove classes with our JavaScript. So let's go to the HTML. All right, so just a little HTML cleanup. I went ahead and removed the secondary class that we applied on these earlier. So we just want the animated on each one of these. And then, like I said, in the JavaScript, we're going to actually target these with a query selector all. Now, we do need to let our HTML page know about our JavaScript. Again, on CodePen. You're not going to have to worry about that. You're going to see the JavaScript on there already. All right, now let's go ahead and do some work with the JavaScript. All right, so just following the documentation that we saw on the MDN docs, we are creating a new intersection observer. We are going to be calling the intersecting callback. So we'll go ahead and create a function for it and exactly paste what they had in there for theirs. And we get this here. I'm just utilizing those documentation in order to create this. And we are looking for the is intersecting. Now, what do we want to do if we are intersecting, right? We would like to add a couple classes on there. And the first one is going to be that light speed to the right. That's one that we want to use. And then I just want to show you on here that we can add another class on here for that animation delay. So maybe you wanted to go a little bit slower. You are able to do that by applying this. And then, of course, at the end of the if, we're going to do an else. And what do we want to have happen if it's not in the view? We want to make sure that we remove the animation. And then we also want to apply the hidden. We definitely want to make sure that we come in here and remove the hidden from that element. Okay. All right. So now that we have our intersecting callback all done, now it's time to actually grab the element. And in this case here, we're going to grab all of the elements, right? And so for that, we're going to utilize the query selector all. And so I'm just going to go ahead and scroll up here, and we're going to call it let animated sections equal query selector all. And again, we're looking for all of the classes that are with an animate underscore underscore animated. We're just going to collect them all up, and it's going to give us a node array. And then we're going to be able to, for each this, and apply the observe method on it. So we're just going to loop through all of the animated sections that we have applied to our web page. And then we are going to put a little observation tracker on it. And we need to supply this animation observer with, hey, what kind of element are you giving us to watch type of thing. All right. So now we can go ahead and take a look at the browser. And let's see if this works, right? So here we are in the browser. And as we're scrolling, you can see that they are animating in as opposed to doing it all at once on the same page. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this web tutorial here. And again, I'm Rob with PreCodeCamp.com, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.